Amena Art. Today we are with our artist Amena K, and she is going to be showing off the Swan painting and explaining it a little bit.
Hi guys, my name is Amena. I'm the artist here at Amena Art. I am the artist on all the major collections that you currently see online or in the actual physical store. So I'm glad to be here and answer some questions from my daughter here, Delphine. And we hope that we can not only entertain you, but give you some insight on our paintings. If you haven't checked out the rest of the series, make sure that you do that after you watch this video, and like and follow as well.
So this is the Swan. What is its actual name, though?
This is called Merry Beginnings.
Is there a reason for that name?
So yes, actually, Merry Beginnings is a transitional name. What I mean with that is during the winter season is when I made this, and I was thinking that I want to have elements of not only a winter about Christmas and the beautiful holidays that bring you family together, but also the elements of early spring, about everything, you know, blooming and coming to life and everything happy. So you can see that as I play into the different elements here, which we'll go over in a second.
Yeah.
Does that pretty much cover it?
I believe that does cover the actual name. So
Okay.
Let's go in a little bit more of the story of it, like why a swan, why a wreath, kind of.
Okay.
All the colors that you chose.
All right, so let's start with the swan, because obviously that is the focal point here. The swan, I really wanted something very elegant and graceful and beautiful, not only to emulate the beauty of Christmas and the holidays, but also the beauty of coming into a new season. And swans is a really nice symbol of beauty and grace, and I thought it would make a nice transition from winter into that spring, because when we transition between those major holidays, especially here in Virginia, we do start to see more birds, because we don't see birds in the winter. There's no like swans around usually, you know, during the winter, so we start noticing them more as we get into spring. So I felt it was a perfect animal to emulate that season. Or seasonal change, I should say.
So I see that there's a wreath and kind of like some leaves here.
Okay.
So is that more the Christmas themed, or
so somewhat. So the leaves kind of can go into both. You can have wreaths, of course. There's a lot of Christmas wreaths that people really do to make to beautify their home. But this is a spring wreath. As you can see here, it doesn't have ornamentation. It's very plain. It's very just what is it? What would be called like a bushy type of wreath. I don't know if it would be called. It would fern. I don't think so. I can't think of the name of what it would be called off the top of my head. But actually, the symbolism of the wreath is actually very predominant throughout like my 20 years as being a middle-aged adult, I would say. Not maybe middle-aged, maybe 20s to 40s. I had a lot of wreaths that I bought for our own house, and they've been on our door for many years, throughout our house for many years. So wreaths are actually a personal element that I added to this piece. We've had wreaths just like this before. We have all kinds of wreaths that we put out over the years. So the wreaths is actually something that's more personable to me, more than anything. And this choice of wreath really played into spring more than the winter, even though I would say these little elements that I have throughout kind of remind me of holly more than actually wreaths. And so that kind of plays in more to the winter side of things. So the winter into the spring.
That's very unique little details there in the swan and the wreath and all that. Is there anything particularly like that you've done uniquely about this that you haven't seen in your other paintings?
So the uniqueness of this particular one, I would say it's actually very similar to another painting that I have, and you probably can see this. Do you know another painting that we've done that has the same type of feel?
The dragon, kind of, to me. That's what.
Oh, because the wreath. Okay, you can say that.
The head that's turned.
You can say that.
That's
yes,
what
it does.
I see.
It does, and you know these are one of the elements that you would see in a lot of my paintings that they get repeated because they're symbols of the way I paint. So I like to keep that theme. So you know, if you enjoy my art, you're gonna see more of that kind of stuff because I enjoy it too. But what I really wanted to point out is the line work. Do you notice anything on the line work that's similar to a painting we talked about earlier?
The elephant.
The elephant.
It's this line work of it coming up.
Out.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did the same type. So we talk about the differences a lot, but I want to talk about similarities here. So the reason why I have the burst here is because it's a symbol that I already used before in my elephant painting, which is called Purpose. If you haven't seen that video, watch it, because it's going to give you a lot more detail on what I'm going to tell you next. So with this element that I have created, the first one being with the elephant, Purpose, is it's action. It's actually, you know, a forward movement. The way I look at it, it's like opening a book or a door. It's a gateway. And so I'm creating a gateway between the seasons. And since swans have actual feathers and wings, she's opening her wings, or he, whatever you want to symbol it as. But you see the open wings, it's just embracing the new season. Because we got to remember, when we go from winter to spring, mentally, at least for me, I feel like we're stepping into a whole new beginning, hence Merry Beginnings. Oh, I never told you that. So the reason for the name Merry Beginnings is it plays on not only Christmas, Merry, but also beginnings, because we're transitioning into a new year. So this symbolism that I put in here is like transitioning into the new season.
So it has some meaning now behind it. You guys understand that a little bit better now. Is there anything specifically that you would like to point out that they may have not seen on the actual thing that they might not understand?
I think we're gonna have to stop and okay.
Kind of.
Yeah, I know. It got really loud. Got really loud. Okay, so where we start from the beginning. Okay, so da 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 da.
You guys get a little bit more understanding about like the story, the reason behind some things, some of similarities between her other pieces. But is there any like little details or anything that you want to show them or mention? Maybe in like some references that you might have had towards the swan or anything?
There is one more that I did miss on the swan. So the swan actually is one of those personal animals that follow me through my life. Things that, you know, me and my kids have done over the years that has been impactful on my growth and who I am today. So the swan is actually a local symbol for a place called Maymont. Maymont is this beautiful, huge garden and mansion and outhouses that we have south of us in Richmond, Virginia. This place is like 2,000 what is it? 2,000 acres or something. Yeah, it's really big. It's 2,000 acres. They have animals. They have lots of land. There's there's an indoor museum. It's huge, and it was this big, huge like place to go for if you were really wealthy and everything. So if you go into there, you learn a little bit about the history. The Dooleys, I believe the last name was, really wealthy, you know, family and their history, and the wife of Mr. Dooley. She loved Swan. She was obsessed. In fact, they had another house. It was called Swananoa, all swan related. And she had furniture all made to look like swans. Her bed was a swan. I believe she had a ton of other like custom like pieces that were swans. But the bed was definitely like immaculate. It was hand carved. It was like a fine materials, and you could see it there at that time when we used to go a lot. It was one of the permanent pieces in the collection they still had, and just knowing about her and the history and everything else, it made me want to level up in my life and actually embrace that and grow to this point, really, in my life, where I appreciate now the finer things of life, and I try to, you know, bring that forward to encourage other people to really take a different look at, you know, the finer things, and not only appreciate it, but actually welcome it into their own homes and spaces. And now you can with pieces that we create here in the gallery.
Well, that's a lovely little bit of backstory to why this piece exists, but also a lot of the other finer pieces that we have in the gallery. Once again, thank you for watching. I believe that is all of this.
Yeah. I almost didn't put in that other piece, but
yes.
I was just like, you know, we didn't really talk about the swan in further detail.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, and to close off, she is Amena, I am Delphine, we are with Amena Art. To see any of the Swan's merchandise, go to amenaart.com, and thank you for watching Amena Art on YouTube.
Take care, guys. Make sure to like and follow.